And we move on to stage 3-1. Well, extra 3-1 anyway. Now, here is where you'll start to notice major changes in the level structure. First off, you gotta turn around to pick up that time extension thing. Now you're gonna notice that jet pod immediately to the left of the entrance. What we can do instead of taking the long way is just triple jump out here, and we'll have a little margin for error as we land on top of it. Now we're going to make our way back into the mainland to try and go for the next jet pod, which we're going to have to climb these balloons for, sort of like we did the first time. Oh, I hate when I get caught underneath those. Now we're going to go up here and we're going to see that one right there. Yes, got it. Now we're going to start making our way toward the other side of the island, killing the obligatory missile-launching pig. You can see the bonus ring just sort of floating in the middle of the stage. It's actually positioned right above the railroad tracks that go between each section of the island, so there's no risk of like falling after you get the bonus ring. And for this, there's a ring of balloons along the bottom, and then those shadows that you see are blocks that have more balloons on them leading up into the sky. Now, unlike the jet pod strategy I mentioned much earlier, you're going to want to start from the bottom and work your way up. Although, I guess that's kind of obvious. I mean, how else are you going to do this? And you can be a little cheap with this one, because there are a couple places where you could stop and be able to shoot all of the balloons without actually jumping toward them, which is exactly what I did here. And as you'll see, doing that actually gives you a lot of extra time. Oh shit, man, that was close. It's almost like a Sonic game where if you press any directions, you're going to throw yourself off the path. Now, follow the fan, and we get yet another jet pod. Now, as for the final jet pod, you see those fans on the ground over there?
Free time.
We're going to follow those toward the final jet pod. And by the way, note that in time stop, the fan blades don't move, and yet they're still blowing air up at us somehow. Alright, now the exit right over there, but I'm not going to take any chances with this and follow the fans all the way back to the castle. And as you can see, there's still plenty of time left. And if you haven't noticed yet, every time the timer hits 3 minutes, your little sidekick thing at the bottom of the screen is going to go, "You're ready to go!" Or something like that. Alright, and these stages are going to gradually take longer and longer, so there will probably be a time where I won't be able to fit 2 of these into one video. But for now, 3-2. And this is where you start to see major changes in parts of the level. First off, we're going to go behind this wall again to get another time extension. And now, we are going to look up. Well, at least make our way up. Remember how it was going around that circular thing before? It goes a little longer than that now. Take a few twists and turns. And this is really awkward to do. Now we're going to jump off at this junction and get that one on the trampoline. Yes, it's still there. From here, we can move over toward these floating islands and the whale. Jeez, those things are tough. And here's yet another time extension in this junction. See that other jet pod? We're going to get it the stupid way. The real way is to follow the floating islands to the other side, and then follow the path from there. But we're going to go against the grain with this one. Every time you land on this, it's going to turn you in the other direction, so you have to be really good at figuring out what direction you're facing as fast as you can. Now we're going to follow this path, down and around, and oh man. This is actually kind of fun. Alright. We're gonna go over this way. This is around where, yeah, you can see the exit down below there, but we have to go all the way out there, and we're gonna use these floating islands to do it.
Free time.
Oh. Well, I won't be able to use that at all, but... Hey, got a jet pod, didn't I? And once again, we don't have to take a direct path to the exit. Oh, let's see, I'm going to use this island, and I'm going to float over to this UFO, and then just drop down onto it.
All right.
And I still had almost 4 minutes left, so long as you can figure out quickly where the jet pods are in this level, not too difficult. And now, yep, you know the drill. Cue the music. On we go to stage 4-1. The changes here are minor, but they do make a significant difference. For example, look up and wait. Yeah, that's where one of the jet pods is. I think that's kind of lame, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. Now, we do want to make our way back up toward those islands like we did the first time. And yes, we're up here. This jet pod is actually kind of the same. But this one is not. We have to go underneath this house on the floating island beneath it. And again, even though there's a lack of friction in this level, if you just stop before, like stop moving before you land on anything, you're not going to slide around. Ah, I just barely missed it. Oh well, I'm gonna go over here now. And as you can see, this is where the next jet pod is. You can just double jump and then triple jump your way over to it. You don't really need to go to any of those other islands. That's more so just if you feel like using your spare time to kill the seals? Is that what they are? And you might barely see that bonus ring floating really high in the middle of nowhere, kind of like the other bonus ring was. And to get that, we're going to basically do the exact same thing that we did before. We're going to land just off to the side of the exit, and then make our way out there with a triple jump. And this bonus stage is, I'll admit, at first it looks like an utter clusterfuck. But what I did was I just stood here and took out as many of the balloons as I possibly could before moving on. And there are a fair amount that you can just reach from this one position. You want to get all the ones along the sides, all the ones that are inside that sort of ring that forms from this. Then take out all the ones at the bottom first. At least that's how I did it. Oh, Jesus, that was close. And now make your way up and over to the other side, taking out any balloons in the path. And that'll bring us to the other side where we can take out these two and that lone red one in the middle of nowhere. And just like before, it's going to drop us onto one of these floating islands. And I'm trying to think what's at the... Oh, right. Sunken ship levels after this one.
All right.
You're going to enjoy seeing the changes they made to that. You remember how I said that there was sort of like a progression with the jet pods in that one, right? Well, there still is technically in this one, but they altered it a bit. Namely, in that you are doing the entire stage in reverse. You start at the bottom from where the exit pad was in the regular level, and now you're working your way back toward the start. gotta be careful with this because you do not want to fall all the way back down. Fortunately, time stops when you're in the elevator. Now, if you stop here and look, you can actually see where one of the jet pods is, but it's going to come up much later on. For now, we're just going to go out here. And even though I've done this before, doing this in reverse completely screws with your general sense of direction. And this is how we get the jet pod that's behind these bars. Now we can move on. There is like a slight difference with like enemy layout in this level. You're going to notice parts where those flying TVs that shoot the rings are going to be clustered in spots. And that makes it a pain in the ass, because what I usually try to do is just run past these things, but these can block your path. You kind of saw it there. Oh dear God, so many of these things. Now, there were a couple of points in this level where you'll notice that I'm kind of like running all over the place. That's because I'm really paranoid. I don't want to go to the end of the level potentially having missed a jet pod. Now, this jet pod is pretty much in the exact opposite corner. It's not on the ship, it's on top of that rock. Now, for this one, you can again see the jet pod behind there, so just take the first right, and it'll lead you right there. The mazes in this aren't really complex. It's just difficult enough to navigate that you could potentially get lost. Because again, you're going to have several sections blocked off. Oh my God, those things will not get out of my way. Ah, other way. Shut up. And the sad thing is, if you get below 3 minutes, then you have a time extension, and then you hit 3 minutes again, he'll keep saying that every time. This one we gotta drop all the way down to get the jet pod, and then we gotta climb all the way back up to get to the exit. And of course these things are going to be attached to the bottom of each of the platforms that you have to climb on the way up. So if you're coordinated enough, you can triple jump to skip over some of them. That's not going to stop them from coming after you, but it will progress you a little faster. Oh, just barely got it. Well, actually I shouldn't say that. There was like 24... You know what? Whatever. Anyway, boss time. You know what's coming. And next time, if we have enough time, 5 and 6.